Well, this is so exciting. So I'm Amanda. It's really nice to have you all here. I'm going to talk a little bit about what I do. I live in Bellingen, which is like inland, a little bit south, in this like absolute paradise. And I have a studio there. So a lot of my inspiration these days is about what I'm doing in my studio. Yeah? Come in. And it would be a long-term goal of mine to probably like work with other small communities to upskill basically and teach young people and adults how to work with their hands again and how to get inspired to like really get out of the fast fashion matrix and just start seeing potential in giving all their fashion pieces a second life. So basically not to throw a single thing away, but add to it and repair it. So that's my little kind of like gift to the world these days, to really just like keep textile waste out of landfill. So just to the side over here on that table, check that out. Okay. Just have a guess. Okay. I don't know. How many families is that from in a day? In a day. Just that. There's a lot of clothes there. You can get up and even go through it. Some of it's really amazing, but like they're chucking stuff out. It's one family. It's a single mum with 2 kids. Okay. And when I said to some of my friends back in Bellingen, oh, like I'm, you know, because I do this a lot. I will get their donations or I will go dumpster diving and get stuff out of the bins. And it's extreme what they give me. It's just so extreme. And I don't like, I'm not that kind of friend where I'm going to like, you know, be like, you shouldn't be buying so much. But really, it's a thing. Like, yeah, that's a huge amount of clothing there. Okay. And I got offered 2 more bootloads. Yeah, of more single mums with kids. So I'm just like, there's not that many people in the house. So yeah, it is extreme. Like even emptying those bags onto that table, I was just like, wow, I didn't need more than this. Like this is going to keep us working in my studio for probably like a month. Like we will repurpose heaps of that. So that just gives you a little insight. I'm going to just tell you a bit about myself so that you can just get to know me. I am an Australian costume designer. So I've designed for 20 years in the Australian theatre, film and events world. And from Melbourne, I had these like amazing studios. We used to just work on like huge stuff, like famous people, just like the high life, loving it. And 10 years ago when I was still there, I never stopped to consider, I'm going to admit it, where my waste was going. It was just bin. It was like, oh, I can't use that bin, or the same, op shop. It just didn't even occur to me, you know. And there was countless amounts of, yeah, just like, let's just take that to the tip. Just take it there. And I wouldn't even think, like, what do they do with it? Like, what do they do with it? It's just landfill. It's crazy. I think things are changing now. I feel that. Like in my community, the tip shops, when they get involved and they can sort, I feel like that's where we've got some like wings of change happening, you know. So then my tip shop in Bellingen's amazing. They will sell you anything for $1. So when people do take the stuff to the tip shop, instead of chucking it in landfill, the tip shop there is like hanging it back up and just trying to give things a second life. So I've been loving them lately. So 10 years ago, I moved from Melbourne up to Bellay. And under the influence of the alternative lifestyle and having this like tree change, that's weird. Is it a bird or a waste truck? Yeah, basically the hippies in Bellingen started really like affecting how I thought about the land. You know, they were generally just these like amazing people and saying like, you know, like we've got to take care of this. This land is incredible. You know, this land we stand on today, Gambagnia land, like in Bellingen, we have our elders in our community. We have the language available to learn. We have Gambagna choirs, you know, so I think it's definitely like, it's amazing to be part of a local community that want change. And I definitely, when I reopened my studio, I was like, okay, this is not Melbourne. Like, even though I'm like pining for all of that goodness, I'm like, okay, what's the best that I can bring this little community, but do it in a sustainable way? And also the youth in these regions, and maybe, I'm not sure, it's been a while since I've been in the city, but I'm pretty sure that young people are hungry for real skills and self-expression in this modern world. So combining the use of like skilling them, which is so easy for someone like myself who's been in an amazing career and industry, but just taking a sidestep out of it, right? I can take on a team of like 5 to 6 young people at a time, evoke some creative magic in them, but then, you know, using upcycling, so bringing in a whole, I give piles, don't we? This is Isis, by the way. She's one of my long-time students. So like sometimes we start with like giant piles like this, and we just rummage through it. And I say to them, okay, what can we do? Like, what can we reshape out of this? And because they're young and they've got the energy, they're just onto it straight away, you know? And it's also saving money for them too, because like when we're wanting to create, generally young people don't have the money to. So I've connected also with Lifehouse and Lifeline. And, you know, I think in Australia we're really lucky to have our charities. Dumpster diving with them has been amazing. Who's dumpster dived here? Anybody? Come on. Oh my God, we're sustainability people, aren't we? Waste? Are we waste people and we've not been in bins?
We work for council.
Oh my gosh.
I get to look in people's bins every day.
It's a grey area. We can't raise our hands, but we can wink at you.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody wink at me if you've been in the dumpsters. So when I first opened my studio in Bellingen, I got some council grants, which was really great. And I felt pretty chuffed that like they also like believed in my like weird witchy city magic, because I'm sure in my council they're just like, what is happening here? I got some money to support like youth mental health, creative engagement. It all just works for upcycling and anything that's like fashion, youth, sustainable. I linked up with those 2 charities, thinking I would do like a day of volunteering in the warehouse. When I realized like how flawed their processes were for throwaway, I then just dumpster dived, because I was so overwhelmed with what gets thrown away at our charities every single day. You all know. Okay. So basically now I try and work out of the bin. And I've got some like teenagers, even like the schools around us. We take the teenagers to do some volunteering and get stuff out of the bin, basically, for them to keep too, you know. All it needs is a wash and, you know, it's a garment, wearable garment again. Yeah. So, yeah, I found all of that really overwhelming. Like, I think it's not known to just general public, right? Just that, like, when you take your bags too early for the charity, like the charity store, if it's there before 9, they actually throw it in the bin, you know. So it's amazing. Like, if you can get that stuff out of the bin, wash it and repurpose it, then I just feel like we're keeping textile waste out of landfill, yeah? On a big scale for council, like what happens there? You know, like, is it reachable? Like, can we get in and, you know?
In terms of donations?
Yeah, working with charities and...
I think it's different for each council. It comes down to also local laws as well.
Right.
And what their guidelines are around charities and charity bins and things like that.
Yeah, right.
I work with some of our local op shops.
Yep.
To their textile waste out of, like that they're not using and
Yeah.
repurposing it for my own workshops.
Yeah, great.
I'd love to upskill that up a bit more, but it's also finding the right partnerships so that textile waste isn't being sent overseas. Like I
Oh,
think there's a lot of different
yes.
hurdles. I think.
Yeah. And do we all have a basic understanding of like how the charity stores are kind of working, and are you all partially like working with that, or can you? Or I feel like it's secret. Is it? It's more like wink. Everybody wink.
It varies council to council.
Okay,
Obviously,
okay.
you've got like we've got a community recycling centre.
Yeah.
We keep 19 wheelie bins of clothing a week, so some of that gets reused, some of it's recycled, some of it's exported. But you know, it
Yeah.
varies between every council.
Every council, yeah, but it's a huge problem globally, yeah, for sure. I would like to showcase a few garments that Isis has made. Icy's 17 and been sewing with me for years, and it's like sustainability is a huge part of her kind of why she creates, and it's her thing. Also, she's like excellent sewer. This one I see designed and created for a sustainability competition. So using quilting as a process, she patched together, these are all scraps, so these are all destined for the bin, basically. So we did do a bit of op shop, kind of like pulling, chopping, and trying to use every skerrick of it. And I mean, even when we're making, there's still waste, but the idea is that we reduce it and then turn it into something so inspiring, wearable, creative, and something we can keep forever. So that's the journey of just trying to keep these like fashion garments in the wardrobe, on the body, inspiring people, rather than just like throw away. Yeah. Yeah, it's so beautiful and so well made. This one here is from vintage tablecloths and silk scarves, and yeah, all of that. Both of them really are from all found. I don't think anything was bought new, right? Yeah, it was so beautiful. And I've got 20 students a week, which is all I can handle, but I have wait lists for all my sessions. I've got adult classes now as well, and I really think that like teaching the foundations of sewing and cutting will get people looking at their own wardrobe differently. So if that's something to kind of take back to council, because all that waste, it's like, I'd probably love to look at all your bins. I reckon I'd end up with the truck. I would have the truck and be like, bring it. But it is about finding people probably like me, or if you're not too far, you know, happy to travel and work, or even train up the trainers. So like train up people in your areas to be able to get like super inspired to stick at it and teach young people how to mend and give everything they've got a second life. Yeah? Do you think they'd be open to that? I feel like my region, they're just like hungry for it. Yeah, yeah. But we're kind of a bunch of hippies too, so I don't know. Maybe there's a bit of like that ability.
Like for our council, for the city council, I think there's more of an appetite for us to be, like you said, encouraging people to look into their own wardrobes,
Yes.
see what they can repurpose from there.
Yeah.
You know, if they're friends are throwing out things they don't want, clothes swaps, going to our op shops, we have 22 drop-off events a year with different clothing. I think because of the operational liability things like
Sure.
dumpster dumping would be more difficult for council.
Okay.
But it's the same
A bit
ethos,
renegade.
you know,
Yeah.
like my big focus is I want to stop it getting into a bin in the first place.
Yes,
So if we
me
can give
too.
people alternative options
Yeah.
for what they can do with textiles like
Yeah.
you're doing, then hopefully they won't be putting anything in the bin anyway.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like really what I'm doing, it's like, it's living proof. Like I've just got these like from like 9 years of age now, and they're staying with me. It's also so incredible for their mental health and development. Like that was a surprise for me. I think I just love what I do so much that realizing that like in these young people who aren't into sport and they're kind of more creative, but they really want to get amongst it. It was really like, yeah, they're just I love my students. I'm actually going to put on a show for them this year, so all their stuff is on show. I know, it's so exciting. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, she's got more as well. Icy's been making and selling like these kinds of little beauty bags. They're all out of scraps, and yeah, it's been awesome. But I wanted to get a little bit creative with a few of you. I don't know if do we have? I feel like you're a total designer. Are you? I don't know. Well, look, I mean, I'd be so happy to like get in touch with all of you and like even share my model and like program with you. It's definitely something that inspires me. There's a few things I start with, which I will do like a demo of now. In terms of like teens, and especially now, like, I'm definitely into fashion. Like, I love it. I'm obsessed by it. It's like, to know me, you have to be into it. Otherwise, I'm going to like, passion dump on you and you'll be like, I can't handle this girl. But for me, it's about like, okay, what's in right now, okay? So when we look at like young peeps, it's like the baggy jeans. It's all early 2000s. It's crop tops and, it's like big, kind of like, yeah. Early 2000s, right? Don't we love, well, we loved it, but not anymore. I don't know. So, but that's what the young people are doing. So it is important to kind of like reach them through their lens of life. But instead of saying, yeah, go to Gander, go to like all these shops and buy new, you can achieve that look through the op shops. And it's so easy to teach them how to shop, to reshop, and to become op shop obsessed instead of going to like the huge fast fashion chains, right? Also, like, these days they're total grunge. They're edgy. And I think maybe teenagers just are anyway, every era. Will we all? Yeah. Okay, yeah, come on, celebrate it. It's gotten you where you are. You love punk. You still do? Oh my God. Oh, we could just make a whole outfit for you.
Oh, yeah. I have to normal myself up for work.
Oh, do you have to?
Yeah.
Oh, there's some rules we need to change in council, like, a bit serious. Okay, I start with the teenagers. Also, just check out like where their sewing or like confidence skills are at by like working with denim, which they love. And you can make a denim bag out of a pair of jeans. Who has worked with denim before? You have. What have you made?
Pretty simple stuff because my machine is newer and
Okay.
I can't handle the weight.
Oh, yeah, they can suck like that, yeah. So you have to cut around all like the thick things. Yeah, cool. Who else?
Yeah.
You have? You sew?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
I made a quilt out of old patches of jeans and like put the seams on the outside.
Okay.
And frayed it.
We love you. That is such a thing, and like all my young people are obsessed with
Yeah, I
that.
made it for my daughter.
You did?
Yeah,
Oh
she loves it.
gosh. Okay.
She puts like the remote control in the pockets.
Oh. So I have a student at the moment. This is Teddy. What Teddy's making on Friday. She's going to create denim patchwork, and it's like low slung cargos. Yeah. And like, to be honest, she's not even much of a sewer, but it's just about getting them in.
Yeah.
And like the Friday night class I run, it's the cool class. We get chips and snacks, but it's a place, yeah. So it is really serving so much of the life of youth, yeah. And facilitating, I'll rather than put my back to you, I'll go right here. Facilitating time with young people and skilling up instead of them hanging out wherever they go and hang out. My Instagram these days is so fun. It's literally full of like incredible hacks on denim. Okay. This is
Can I
gonna
ask
be.
something?
Yeah, of course.
With the jeans, like they look like they're still in pretty good nick.
Yep.
Those would be super donatable to an op shop. And
Totally.
possibly someone might not buy them. Is it? Well, now.
No.
But is it better to keep them as jeans and hope that someone buys them rather than turn them into a bag or like for shorts
Well,
rather than
if
sort of downcycle it almost into a bag.
well, yeah. I mean, it depends on how you look at it.
Yeah.
I
And there's
think.
a chance no one will buy it, so
I think the fashion. I think the like who your demographic is around your area. So like for these, yeah, like a teenager might have bought these for sure, and because they're like pretty low. But I think like looking at the style of the garment, because I just think some of the stuff that goes into the store, it's going to sit there for ages. Yeah. So whereas like a bag is utilitarian and it's super practical and it can just get used and used and used. And then when it's done, it usually will go to somebody else rather than just nothing, you know? Yeah. But yeah, I think...
Is it a bit of a numbers game? It's like, even if that pair got bought, the next 50, 60 pairs won't. So if you're cutting up one pair to use it as the fabric for a new project,
Yeah.
we all know that there's going to be 600 other pairs of jeans in that set going through that same store in the next, what, 2 months?
Yeah, 100%. And the way that when you're cutting and sewing, you can use almost all of it. And with denim and anything natural fibre, it's so worth holding on to as a sewer because you will reuse that. So like anything, so we basically, this is going to be an excellent like super chunky bag. So it's like beach bag, sleepover bag, like you can fit your laptop in this. It's awesome because it's got the pockets at the front and it's got pockets at the back. The strap gets made of the leg, and then you end up with a leg left over, but that's such good denim that the next project you're on, you will use it. Yeah. And because I suppose like I'm in studio mode, I don't throw anything out. So then I get someone come and say, oh, I'm gonna, you know, you kind of need to hoard. I think this whole process, you do need to hoard, you need to keep, you need to reuse and not throw anything away. Yeah.
Do you reuse zippers, like unpick them?
Unpick them? Well, I've got a technique of unpicking them slightly and then just ripping them out. Yeah. I'm a bit rough.
You are reusing them because a lot of
Totally.
zippers are expensive.
Oh, it's, well, and also where I live, like it's 40 minutes to Spotlight. And so for all my students, like I actually send them to the op shop to find everything. So, or I've got a big costume collection as well. And yes, we've been known to costume that I'm probably that's sitting there that I'm not going to use. We will actually, I will be like, okay, you know what, you're going to unpick the zip out of this and then, yeah, keep going on it.
I have a question.
Yes.
Have you ever seen any of your students like just out on the town wearing what you've made in class?
There's not much of a town where we are, but...
Okay.
Have I seen them? I'm out on the town. Are you out on the town? Not yet. Do you wear your stuff out? You wear your stuff out?
Yeah, I wear lots of the stuff I make.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Can I make a comment? As someone who does a lot of like refashioning of their clothes, no one ever knows that I've remade it. Like most people can't tell
Hey.
that it's something that I've remade.
Yes.
And with the scraps thing, like the one thing I find really useful is I've got fabric that I've had for 15, 20 years.
Yes.
And so recently I washed a pair of second-hand pants and the belt loop ripped out in the wash. So I just put a tiny scrap of fabric that I think had been in there for who God knows how long behind it, sewed it in. So you now can't tell that there's been a repair. But that scrap of fabric, I'm going to guess, had been in there for 5, 10 years. And I have
Yeah.
a scraps bag.
Yeah.
And I've even used it for things like I've made
I love this.
friends with new babies, like little stuffies, and then I stuffed it with scraps of fabric. I wouldn't recommend that. It became about 5 kilos too heavy, and this little child had a doorstop. But now that he's 6 years old, he loves it. He can pick it up. Yeah, if you have the storage, it's really useful.
Yeah, and I think it's about like remembering back in time, you know, like my mother, you know, there was no stores. So they actually had it right. And I mean, let's talk about organic food. It was just normal, like all of it. How they lived in some ways was very sustainable. You know, my mum used to make her clothes and she had to save up money to buy fabric, and you got just enough fabric. And then you kind of cut it so you just used everything, right? And I've still got her dresses. I don't fit them because she was like this, probably not eating much, I don't know. But It's true, you know, and then she's gifted me, and I get given so many amazing boxes of textiles from nanas. So when people's nanas pass away, no one else knows how to sew anymore.
How
So
about the old patterns? Like,
I
go to my
love
mom's closet and
them.
there's tons of
Oh
them.
my gosh,
Really
yes.
nice ones.
You know, they're the best ones though. Don't we always
Yeah.
say that? I'm like, the vintage patterns, the op shop patterns are the best. They're really, they're well cut. But yeah, I don't throw anything out. All right, I'll let you pin that together at the bottom, and we'll run a stitch through that, and then we can make a strap out of this one.
Trying to cut that.
Yeah. What else have I made? Oh, look, let's talk about the world of wearable art. Okay, so this is where your like youth culture. Sorry, Mitchell. If you do, like where you come from, if you do struggle with engagement, wearable art can just be so expressive. So that's where you can actually, so if you've got a tip store or access to, like you can basically make anything out of anything, like cushions from chairs or Pokemon cards or plushies from, you know, like I've gone on soft toy collection before I've got on the Facebook groups going, who's got soft toys? And it's kind of creepy and crazy how many people have got giant garbage bags in their garages of plushies, all like sad toys in there. Like, thanks so much, and take them home, washing machine. And I've had classes in school holidays where younger kids that aren't sewing yet, I've given them this giant pile of teddies, and we unstuff some of them, turn them into bum bags, which has been amazing. I've had teenagers that want to create, that have that like design brain, but don't have the skill and maybe a little bit stuck on developing it. Using glue, using hand sewing. I've had like this amazing student, Georgia, cover an entire coat with plushies. And she just kept going. It was almost like therapy, right? Just covering it with teddies. And in the end, we're like, well, it's like festival wear. And I had these cool cats walk into my studio going, I reckon I'd pay like $500 for that. I was just like, wow. And it was all donated, you know, and that, I'm pretty sure that all those teddies would have just gone straight to the land, because wash them, I still don't think, you don't sell them at op shops if they're a bit, they don't want them, yeah. Not for kids, they don't want to put old, yeah. Oh, plushies, oh. Yeah, and do you know what though, like that jacket that she created, and we talk about it because there's no sewing involved, and she's not that type of student. And it's still one of the best things we've ever seen. And she let me keep it in my studio for a while, and every single person that saw it was just like, wow, like that's deeply inspiring. She went on to make a Pokemon outfit. So I have Pokemon obsessed kids, and one of them just was like, I'm over it, you know. And I think as mothers, we get like that, you know, we invest and we spend on our children, and then all of a sudden, they're like, oh, I'm done. And you're like, no, you can't be done. You need to keep that forever. And I had a box of Pokemon. So I was like, I'm going to actually run a Pokemon class where we are going to just cover garments in Pokemon cards. It was incredible. It was like some people were sewing them, because you can sew through cardboard. And then Georgia again, she hand sewed and glued, and it's incredible. It was so beautifully crafted, just like A-line skirt and little top. And then I think the last wearable art project with that particular student was using play. So they're like a spongy mat, so foam. And we crafted top hats and a giant kind of circus skirt. Yeah. So again, and she wasn't, not a big sewer, but more of a design brain, you know. So I think just getting like, being able to get these incredible young minds, it's definitely the way. All right. Let me get that. I want this bag. I think if I stand here, it's bad, isn't it? Sniper. Any other fun questions?
Does your tip shop sell clothing, donated clothing?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
great.
I'm pretty
Ours is
sure.
very resistant to it.
Ah.
I mean, they probably run out of space anyway, and we sort of see that as the op shop's role.
Yeah, the tip shop's incredible. So many people go there to buy. You know, our local op shop, it's gotten very expensive. And their throwaway, I go to their bin, I ask for their bin. That's my relationship with them, because I know that their bin is actually like A-grade bin. It's like just, I don't put them down for it, but
It's just the reality of
it is the reality of it, isn't it? Yeah, totally. Yeah.
Does the council run your tip shop?
Say that again?
Does the council run your tip shop?
Yes. Yeah, it does. Is that good? I say that?
Do you notice that with so much fast fashion going through your shops, can you still reinvent things with lower quality fabrics? Is it harder for you to source good natural?
Yeah, it's a really good question. Sometimes, depending on the brand, so like, let's talk about Kmart. I mean, they need a give back system, because the Anko brand is, you know, when the op shops aren't selling them, I can recreate from some of their fabrics, probably women's wear, a little bit of menswear, but any of the kids' stuff, it's just falling apart. Yeah, it's not good. And their combination of fibres isn't great either. Like they will resist using as much natural as possible. They will say like natural look, but it's like it's not natural. Yeah. So.
I wonder, like, so many pairs of jeans or tops will get like the 95% cotton, 95% standards. Does that
Yeah.
impact how you can
Generally with denim, like, and I'm just so, I know fabric so well that yes, it limits what we can do, but then there's ways to work around it. And then that's why having that little hoarded box of things is great, because if you can take something that's a crapper quality, but you can merge it with some, you know, beautiful big scrap that you've got, then it instantly lifts the quality of that kind of poorer piece. Yeah, so, which is good. Because I know, and I mean, you know, I need to admit, like, I'm a circus and dance costume designer. So for a long time, I was just cutting up synthetics. It's like sequins of plastic, and they're flying into anywhere. Like, where are they now? They still exist. It's a lot to take on, but it's about just like buying differently. So even from a theatre point of view, I now try and I'm op shops. I am just sourcing differently. So I only buy new material if I just cannot find it anywhere, and I still try and source it in a different way so that I'm not, buying the crap synthetic. Yeah.
I had a vintage dress that belonged to my mum, and it was heavily damaged, and I took it to two seamstresses, and they wouldn't touch it. They said it was too damaged and you couldn't do anything with it. I repaired it just by hand sewing, but because it's something that I only wear on special occasions, and usually I'm going out to dinner or I'm sitting down in the theatre, it doesn't get much wear and tear. So I think if you had some of those more fragile materials, you could potentially incorporate them into something that, you know, an office wear something or something where there's not a lot of wear and tear involved. Or like you said with upcycled jewellery, like jewellery doesn't get as much wear. Like if you've got something in your hair,
Yeah.
it's not touching anything. So
Yeah.
it doesn't matter if it's slightly more fragile than jeans or something, I think.
Yeah, I think like everything has the potential to be changed and added to. If anything that's been made, so we used to have our own making industry and factories in Australia from the late 90s back. And late 90s, everything's offshore, right? But when it was made in Australia, it was incredible. So you'll find that stuff in the op shops now. If it says made in Australia, seriously, wow. If it says Q, if it says Katie's, if it's just even vintage Kmart, vintage Target, I love. It was made here, and you know, they're those older generations, those women working in there. They knew what was up, but then it all just, it got changed. Everything got shipped, and even our fabric industries, like it all got changed, so it all got shipped offshore. Yeah. Oh, it's interesting, isn't it? I want to go back to wearable art. I feel like there's this like incredible opportunity for young people, and in all of your kind of like council areas, right? Getting young people and young adults into wearable art, where we're repurposing. It's a little bit more sculptural than everyday wearable. Like careers can get made on this. There's actually like huge competitions all throughout the world where people are creating like the most insane wearable art. In New Zealand, there's a World of Wearable Art competition. Has anyone heard of it? Yes. It's so insane, and it's a respected career choice, and I think a lot of people just don't understand that. They think fashion design, costume design, but the world of wearable art it's legit, it's real deal. All right, we're going to turn this into a beautiful strap. I'm also going to, it's mostly women's wear over there, but I'm also going to gift, if you like, the garments on that table to you. If anyone wants to go and have a fossick through, because a lot of it is really wearable. I don't know, free clothes? Is that a thing?
Are you saying now?
No. You're all on flight? This is a really beautiful dress. I wouldn't buy this much even in a year. I can't even, like...
So much stuff.
It's crazy. It's crazy, isn't it? These are cool little shots. Oh.
Amanda, I have worn one of your costumes.
You have?
I have.
Where from?
Common People.
Oh, do you do that?
Yeah.
Oh, what's your name?
Megan.
Oh,
So I'll have to get a photo for
Megan.
Nerida.
Oh my God, Megan.
I've probably got a photo in here of me wearing the costume. I'll have to find it.
Common People.
It was
not
the
very
winning-
sustainable.
I know, but...
Are you from Northside?
Shit, we look hot. No, South Side. The work routine, so it was purple pink.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I'll have to find it.
Oh, and do you know, in terms of Common People, no, that's getting very sustainable this year.
Yeah?
Like her and I, we've just like gone, nah, we're just like, because working with like 300 people now and kids, I'm like, I'm not going to buy anything new at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like one of my personal missions is like, the only new things I purchase are undies. Okay?
Bras.
Well, yes, bra undies.
Bra, okay.
But even not many, okay? But like my shoes, like these are designer shoes, they're op shop.
Oh, wow.
This was repurposed, so this used to be a bigger dress. And it's like cut the sleeves down, turn the sleeves into straps, put elastic around the waist. Yeah. But like, is there a possibility to create programs led by like super competent sewing people? Like,
For sure.
is
I
that a
think the issue
thing?
that we have is that people have the skill of sewing and creating,
Yeah.
they maybe don't have the skill of teaching
Yeah,
or engaging
sure.
young people. Like I can teach anyone to sew,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I can't pick something that a younger person will
Hey,
find cool.
do you want to? Yeah. No, I know what
so
you
it's
mean.
like
yeah.
having that mixture.
Combo. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I wish I could have you all in my studio. It's like it's a
But I think what's maybe working in your favour is the lack of other options. So maybe
Yeah.
if younger people don't have so many shops to shop in, they might be thinking about creativity.
yeah,
So
totally.
for us,
yeah.
it's like that lack of
Wow.
instant gratification.
And you've got so where are you from? The city? Oh, from right. Oh my gosh, yes.
So
wow.
I learned how to
Oh.
sew. Yeah, I learned how to sew because when I was younger,
Yeah.
I was big,
Yeah.
and there weren't many clothing options that I liked.
Yeah.
So I learned how to sew because I hated what was available.
Yeah.
So and so often I'm not sewing from scratch because I don't have the patience. But I will refashion, rework something, rethink something. So
I just think it's the way. Like, it is just the way. Yeah, and you're right. I mean, it's almost like you're living in the land of addiction in terms of fast fashion. Like, how do you'd almost have to stand out the front of the shops and just be like,
yeah.
don't go in. What have you got at home?
When someone has instant gratification as their option, how do you convince them that spending hours, and sometimes it's, you know, the price of buying something online is cheaper than even an op shop purchase and remake.
I know.
Because if you don't already have all the components, if this is like in an op shop, this would be what? Somewhere between $7 and $15 in Sydney.
Yeah.
So if you're then paying for thread and you have to have maybe a sewing machine, you're talking at least $20-ish. You could probably buy that in Kmart for $12.
I reckon it's the, like, sewing, teaching sewing and upcycling. It's not going to be for the, like, straighty 180s.
No, not at all. It's
But
the ones
anyone
that
that's got some self-expression or subculture, any creative interest. So whether it's like, oh yeah, they're leaning more, they're like a bit music, or they're a bit design, or they're a bit anime. The cosplay kids, they love to learn to sew. Because even though they might get stuff online, it's almost like not. Because they're trying to create a cartoon.
They want to amp it up. Well,
and they get their online outfit and they're like, how come I don't look as like.
And
but
then
they
it's like
need
because
to.
the person who's doing that is like cinched in or wearing a huge underskirt.
She's a cartoon, and she's like,
been photoshopped
and the way to make that, the body is like something so
add
different.
that,
It's like, pull that in, push that out.
Well, we have so my colleague over there did a presentation. We have this thing called Sustainable Waste to Art Prize. So it has to be sustainably made, and the person who's entering has to live, work, or play in Citywide.
Okay, great.
So it's pretty much open to anyone in Sydney. We're not going to check.
Yep.
But we have cash prizes, and what we get a lot of is people who are doing their HSC in design, submitting these amazing dresses. We always get amazing dresses every single year, and even ones where, I mean, that's my favourite, but there was one that was basically a full chainmail dress made from the tabs from drink cans.
Oh yeah.
And so it like would have been so heavy. I don't even know if a human could wear it, but like
I would wear it.
It would have been like a 4 kilo dress. It looked amazing on. So yeah, I do think that we have the capability for it, but even as someone who works in a council who would be commissioning this kind of thing, I would need someone I would be able to hire them as a full service, because I would need someone who can bring their sewing machines,
just knock it.
who can bring this stuff. And there's just not a lot of people who have all of that and are appealing to youth, who's really who we want to engage.
Yeah. Do you have the youth engagement already? I think that's
Not
a thing in
through
some
our
councils.
team.
Like, I mean, my council has
through
no
more
youth
planning.
engagement.
Well,
Like,
we definitely have
there's
youth
like-
engagement, but it's challenging with waste. We tend to go more through schools.
Oh, yeah,
We
that's
have had
good.
workshops where it's like refashioning, but it tends to be more adults.
Okay.
With the occasional like she brought her teenager along, and it's always her women.
No.
We never
See,
get a guy
I
coming in.
have. Oh my gosh, I have guys.
Oh, good.
I have teenage
Fantastic.
boys.
We have never
When
seen
I
a
get
teenage
the
boy
teen-
in
oh
a
my gosh.
single workshop I have ever.
When I get the teenage boys,
That's super cute.
I think
you should
they-
get that.
That's so cute.
Well, but you know what you can do?
different.
If it's a tiny bit small,
great.
do you have access to a sewing machine?
I have access to a wonderful mother who does have access to a
So
sewing
what
machine.
I've done before with the t-shirt that was too small is I just added a tiny little bit of fabric in here, and it just made it big enough that I could get it.
Yeah. It's great. I just don't know if the boobs will.
well, try
Well, if
try
you
it
have
on.
if you have that fabric, then you can just add a tiny bit of fabric.
Yeah, you could actually even just like cut that down the back,
Yeah.
right? And then like fold in the sides even. Or like if that bit is tight. Anyway, you try it on, and then you know.
I'm
Yeah.
afraid I'm gonna have to leave your fabulous
I
think some of it.
touch, but
Oh, there's like things
I
to
think
do.
I might have to go with you too. Is it time? Yeah,
I've
shit.
got to find my bag.
Tiny.
Bit
Oh, it's
You
really.
know,
it's
the other
like
thing
so
you could do, which I've done
cute.
before,
It's
the other
cute.
thing which I've done before, which you'd get the space out of,
But also
is,
if you maybe
is
cut that down.
yeah, if you cut down this side and add in one on each side, what that'll do is it'll open that up and it'll get past your shoulders.
I respect, but I think this might be too big of a project because I probably would have to fix a few different things in here.
No,
You can even.
you just have to decide and it'll work.
Yeah.
I've
Take
done
it
it
off. We'll do it for you.
I'm like, you can do it.
I'm going to cut the side seams down so it becomes like a
side
V,
seams will work.
and then the whole thing just opens. Oh, these look good. Little, but very cute.
Yes, I'm so sorry.
Oh no, it was so nice to meet you. Oh, look at this. We've produced the giant pile. We're going to do like a live demo. What's your name? Brittany.
It's a kid's dress. But I see a really cool top.
Oh, yay. What did you say? Yeah, totally. Yeah, that's why we did it double. Yeah. So, do you sew? You too? I do. Just got to get back into it. Got to find adult sewing classes. Mine are so fun. Got like a DJ, there's a singer that comes along. I think now a pole dancer is starting on Friday. I'm just like, it's like my favourite. Just they come in and they're making just whatever they want to make. Oh gosh, I mean, if I come down and design a show for the foodies again, I could stay for an extra week and just like even set something up with some people that live there, you know, because I think just having something regular is important. Because we all get like exciting visiting people. But it's like, oh, well, you're leaving, you know. Yeah. Oh, so tricky. I've been researching it recently. It's more about getting all the appropriate glues. So it's like taking and having the right knives. Yeah, so taking, say, a pretty cool sneaker, but it's completely like the sole's ruined on most shoes first, or the heel comes off. So cutting along here, okay, and then getting a shoe that is super wearable and awesome, and placing that over the top of the shoe, or even cutting some funky designs into the side of the one that you've cut. So then you kind of get this like double layered effect. But working with leather and rubber, it's got to be this, it's super toxic glue. So I think but as long as you've got that, it's kind of contact adhesive. So it has I think it's like yellow. It has to go on both sides, and then you've got to clamp it. But so worth doing. Yeah, I try not to throw shoes out. I just keep them going and going and going. Yeah, but it is tricky. And the toy, that was so interesting to hear about the toys, because like I think I have a playful naivety for someone my age. So like when I got all the toys from all these like quite strange people from their garages, I was just like, what? You've had this many just
And they collect them and get a
giant Smurfs? Like, no, I started going, well, maybe these are like worth something. Should Google it. No. Yeah. But yeah, I'm really happy to like chat with any of you about, you know, what it might take to kind of like, you know, or if you have access to Like what happens within councils? Like surely you wouldn't have to like go for a grant, or do you just pitch ideas to the council, or you get a budget? Bit of both. Okay. Okay. Sure. Yes, which is what I meant. Oh, thank you. Thanks so much for coming. See ya. Thanks. Okay. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And a lot of the time it's good to show like the collaboration between like an organisation and local council to show there is like a cross industry, cross body
Yeah.
partnership that's really trying to fix it.
Ooh, yes, that sounds very Albury. Sounds very sounds very border town. Does that happen a lot? Just like, what are we doing here? What are we doing there? Come on, everybody, let's work together. I really think that you would have the people in Albury to like do this. Like, yeah.
Yeah, if, like I'd love to keep in contact and try and set something.
I could just like let you know kind of in terms of roles and even like what you need, gear, space, how long to, because I've just problem solved through the last 3 years. So I've had like weekends, we've done 3-day things, and I've just got to like try all the different ways of teaching and engaging, and I'm just nailing it now. And but it was like, there was a few patches where I was like, why isn't anyone booking into that one? Or it's free. But even that was the thing, it can't be free.
Yeah, that is the value.
I'm like, it's free. It's for you guys, because like you don't have much. Like, why aren't you coming? Odd. Yes, yeah, and committing. It was so strange. So then I made it $15, and then it was great. Then it turned up. The mums were so into it too. Yeah, it was really interesting, super interesting. So Brittany wants this like little girl's super cute cotton outfit turned into something that fits her. I'm just like splitting down the armhole. Oh yeah. Do you know how to work an iron?
Yes.
Oh great. Let's go to the iron, Brittany. So we're Mitchell, SOS. I need to stand over here, but I'm gonna. Thank you. You're great, Mitchell. Yay. Okay, so we're opening it up under the armholes because there's so much fabric here. There's not a problem with that meeting, but it's so tight there. So we're opening it up. I would have unpicked that had we more time, but I've just cut along the seam. We're double folding it over so it's not a rough edge. And the iron is magical. So like whenever you sew, you need the iron set up. Yes. Okay.
Don't try and shortcut it.
It's just crazy. I mean, in a lot of my classes, the other kids are like, I thought I was coming to sew. It's like ironing class. But you have to. It's so, people don't even have irons in their house anymore, right? But you can't sew without it. Sewing with it means that all your edges are crisp. And it's not just that it looks store-bought, but it does. And the way it sits on the body or in terms of the bag, it just looks ready to go. Yeah, so I've like double, and we're just going to put the iron over it. Go like this. So we can't iron the plastic part of a pin, but we can iron the metal part. Yeah. And when we're ironing, we just use like the arrow. So you just need to get that arrow in there and then move on to the next little bit, which is here. So we skip over the plastic So flattening that out with the iron means that like when we put it under the machine's just going to like eat that up. It's not going to, it's easily glide. The stitch is going to be where we want it to. If we, like compared to that, if we try and sew that, it's going to roll out and it's going to look super dodgy. Yeah, super dodgy. Yeah, very dodgy. Brittany. Okay. Yeah, it's great. Now I do want to press right in that corner, so I'm just going to move the pin. Look, it's so fun. Like most of the classes we do, even like I don't sit around and sew. I'm just like bouncing around helping everybody. But I look around and we're just so happy. We're so happy, and I often say to all the teenagers, "Oh, aren't we so lucky that we just get to do this?" Yeah. I get though that like I am in a country town and there isn't much for them to do, so it does feel fun. But I still feel.
I think there's like Ruby who was saying we both live in the inner west, and there's a huge appetite in places like that as well.
Yeah.
Especially with like everything is so expensive in cities, and it's out of necessity, but also it's just better. Like you pay things so much better when you're getting them second.
Yeah.
And it feels so good to me.
I'm just going to steal these, I see. Yeah, and also like I think we're all aware of like clothes swaps, and I think within families and within friend groups we clothes swap, but then we're not all the same size. And you know, oh, she's like a 10, I'm like a 12. You know, if you got my stuff, you'd have to just run it in, but it's so easy. You literally would just have to go down here, and you're like, new outfit, exactly like this. Maybe even don't iron it, but just like you would just go straight down the sides. You know, if I was getting stuff of yours, they might be a bit tight, so I would just unpick the strap a little bit and like make it fit better, you know. Although I like really short stuff, so then I'm like, okay, I'll get Brittany's dresses and make the chest longer, but I'll cut it into a mini, you know. And then you're not even spending anything, you're just swapping clothes. Good pair of scissors. Pins, share a machine. So I'll get you to do this. What I do there is like I roll it and then I roll it again. Okay, so I'm going to, put some pins just in that. Great. Beautiful. And then one up towards the top. Great.
The dress actually I'm wearing is a rental. My friend is.
That's a rental. Oh, that's cool.
Yes. She's in South America for a year, so she had a renting party. So she could put anything in storage. So a whole bunch of us just have her clothes.
You have to pay her though?
No.
Oh, that's good. That's how she's living overseas.
Yeah, she's not paying for kennels or anything. We just all have her clothes for a year. Which is great.
Really great.
And it always reminds me of how when I wear something of hers as well. It's lovely.
It's actually beautiful. But doesn't that show you something though, that like, wow, going overseas, I've got too many clothes. Like it's a lot.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool.
All right. We are bagged. I think you need to model. We have a bag modeling party going on. All right. What's the song? Mitchell, put a song on. We're gonna model. Whatever the last thing you were listening to was. What is it? Death metal. Yes. I knew it! Put it on! Alright. So, Brittany was into this. It's from the table, but it's a kid. Are you gonna? Yeah, go on. Woo! You actually look great. Can I just say though, like how cool you look in that denim bag? You look great in that denim bag. Like it's funking you up. So this was a size 8 kids dress. It's a very nice cotton, so it's a cotton on upshot, and it doesn't fit under the arms obviously because it's cut for like a youth. So I have cut down the side and we're just turning it in, and we're going to sew over it just to create more space under the arm. So it's almost being turned into a smock. and we'll sew it, and then we can try it on again. And then if it needs tweaking, or even a belt would probably work well with that. Do you want to sew that icy? So we've ironed it. It's just under here.
Yeah, okay.
So you're just going to go there and there, and I've double rolled it. Brittany and I were just talking about the dress she's wearing now is like a rental from a friend that's gone overseas and had a rental party to like share her clothes amongst all. Is this a thing? With no? Oh, okay, love it. Yeah, so she doesn't have to store her clothes.
So I've got it for a year. I've got it for 4 more months actually.
Which is when, like, you wear it, you get sick of it,
Yeah.
it goes back.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Rather than, oh, I'm going overseas, just delivery to the op shop. You know, just like crowd them and then buy more stuff over at H&M in Barcelona or whatever. Yeah, totally. Another reason to learn the basics of sewing for young people is learning to alter clothes. And even if it's really crappy alterations, like looks like a dog bit it, like it doesn't matter, because if you can just learn to take side seams in and do a hem, so just to take it up, like we were just discussing, you know, I'm a 12, you're probably a 10-ish, okay. So like if we were friends and had a machine to share, what we could do is, you know, if Brittany got my clothes, she'd literally just have to take them in just a tiny bit down the side, right? We just have to lengthen the strap a little bit, but then I like super short dresses, so I just like chop it short, and then I've got like a tight, like a tight little mini dress, something like that. And I think that like encouraging young people to think like that together would probably be a way to get them into it, because honestly, like, yeah, I think the younger they are, they need to feel like they're in it together to create a vibe, and it's a thing, and it's a trend, and, you know, power in numbers, I think, with youth is important. Yeah, super fun. I've learned so much today too. It's been great. Anyone else need or want to rework anything from the table? Do you want to keep the denim bag? I feel like you do.
Oh, I'll give it to one of my daughters.
Oh my gosh, take it. Go on, yeah. And do they sew? Do you want to take the scrap so then they could like sew patches onto it, or shall I keep the high quality scrap? Oh, shame on you. No.
He's here, it's good.
Okay. I do think though, in terms of sewing, starting kids young, like as young as possible, it's one of those things, because it's difficult. It has degrees of difficulty, and so are scissors. Like, you know, and I think a lot of young people are losing this because of this.
I have a question actually.
Yeah.
Can you take sewing in school in Australia? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so it's in the curriculum for high school, so from year 7. It's part of the national curriculum, and it's called textiles. It's so difficult and regimented because you're machining the health and safety. So it's almost like if I get teenagers that have already done 2 years of textiles, they almost have anxiety attacks when they go to sit down because their last sewing teacher was like, don't do that, or be careful, or and unfortunately that seems to stifle their want to do it, commitment, and their creative. So there's other ways around that. I tend to encourage the creative and the rogue sewing, just like rogue sew. Like I just will give scraps, so like that, and you know, like, or out of my scrap bin, just a long chunk, and I'll go, okay, just sew. Because they have to, this is, you know, it's like a bike, you have to get confident before you can start doing wheelies. It's like you need to just like have practice, trust yourself, calm down, have the patience. And then once you're like, yeah, I know how to thread it and I can do a bobbin and all of that, then you can start kind of, your creative can start going wild, and then we start sewing bubble wrap and or whatever, yeah. Yeah, you can sew cardboard, paper. I've got a a girl trying to find, so she's in class 6, and she's slowly collecting used bubble wrap, and she's making a 1950s like prom dress out of it, because you can sew plastic together. Yeah, just with like a plastic foot. It's beautiful. It's going to be like a sweetheart neck, and it just gets sewn onto cotton. You know, yeah, it's really exciting. Super great. Yay, we'll iron it again. Back to the iron. Yay. Any other questions?
Yeah, do you teach kids or your students and everyone how to sort of reinforce clothes they already have? Because there's like jeans, the first thing to wear out is like in the gusset because you like to rub it in so that it wears out, right? And crush really immediately. So I know you can like reinforce the gusset or whatever, and I've actually found like a sustainable brand which comes with when you buy shorts, they give you a gusset as well to sew in when they eventually wear out.
Oh,
So
that's a great idea.
but like you won't get that. So it's like, do you teach them how to just reinforce what they've already got to extend the life of it?
Repair their clothes. It happens a lot with the denim, because I think they love their denim. I think generally people fall in love with denim. I don't know, it's a thing. I think it's comfy, it's heavy. It's like, oh, I love that. So we do a lot of denim reinforcement. I've had a lot of teenage boys come through, which I love, and they don't get special treatment, but I do get very proud of them because they're just like, they're so hard to get. But Charlie was amazing. He was like slightly older teen when he started, and started making skater pants from scratch, and then collecting heaps of skater jeans. And because skaters, they rip, although they rip the crotch, they rip the legs, they do a trick, big slash here. So he was mending beautifully. Then he went out and got a proper machine that was for denim. So it's just great. Like, but then he stopped anyway. He's too cool for it now. I don't know. Yeah. Well, he ended up going down to Sydney to study fashion for a bit, but he's, I don't know, just a bit big. All right. Do you want to try that on? See if it's smocked enough. How are we going? Super cutie.
So much more space now.
Beautiful. Just needs a little belt, maybe, or oh, it's very adorable.
I just wear it with like low-rise jeans.
Yeah, nice.
Comes all fits.
Great colour on you.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You didn't even have to unpick it. Oh, so cheaty. I'm quite mean in a class. I'm like, oh, that needs unpicking. Like, why? They cry. But you don't always need to. We just cut. And I think that's the thing. Like, I suppose like learning in school, in the curriculum, they really live by the rules. But I think because it is a creative expression and we really do need to just get people sewing, I think just like send the rules out the window a little bit, like just allowing them to come in and just kind of do what they need to do for them that's going to suit their style and the clothes they're bringing along or the clothes you're supplying them. Let them have the idea, and then your facilitator just supports their idea. I never break anyone's idea down. I'm just like, that's your idea. You're going to love it. You love it? They're like, yeah, I love it. All right, let's do it. Yeah, so I think that's also a way in with all I reckon if you created like creative sewing groups, they'd all bring so many clothes. You wouldn't even need to dumpster dive.
Do you train up like facilitators? Because we run workshops in Sydney. I mean, Brittany organises sewing and stuff and fixing and mending, but I feel like there's not probably many facilitators around to draw.
No, it seems to be relatively limited in Sydney. A lot of the councils all use the same supplier.
Yeah, getting the same people. Oh,
and
yeah,
it's getting people as well that can like speak to different groups because they teach about physical lending, which is great, but not everyone would be into that.
Yes, you're right. I definitely, like when I had my studios in Melbourne, I used to train people under my style, which was a thing, and it was an awesome thing. It was, I think. And there's a few girls down there actually doing some really funky fast fashion. It's kind of gone a little bit more cryptic though, into like performance art. But they have the potential to teach. And yeah, I could definitely train. It's just about, I also think, getting someone to commit to it. Is that an issue sometimes? Finding people that got the skills, but also like that are going to stick at it for, because you'd want to create programs that could run for at least like 3 months. And yeah.
Also, we pay them, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
facilitators and volunteers.
Yeah. I follow the school term, yeah, and then I do school holiday program stuff as well, and then we actually do like 6-hour classes. So I get people visiting, a lot of like Sydney-siders that come up to Bellingen for holidays, who have got super creative kids, but they're not really diving into anything down in Sydney. They come up and some of them do one-on-ones with me. They'll bring their school projects or they just join in my classes, yeah. But it's great giving them an entire day of something that's just so fulfilling. And then the parents, the way they report back to me, it's always the same. It's so adorable. They take photos because they're like, my kid is now at home and they're just like quiet, but like in the room with the sewing machine out and just like making stuff, and they're doing the rogue sewing, which I actually love. Like I think that's kind of where it starts, because if you just get them into it and then you pull them back and be like, okay, now you need to like redo that or tighten that up a bit. Yeah. So, cool. All right. Anything else I can share? Do we want to do any other sewing, or want me to keep just talking? What time is it? Oh yeah, we've got 15 minutes. Might just check my notes. I'm pretty sure there was like other stuff I wanted to talk about, but I love you guys. I feel like we should meet every day. Oh my God, how good would that be? And then you all get sewing.
We'll bring you the fabric.
Okay. Oh, I feel like we have the potential here to like create probably like our own fashion label or something. Like, you know, dumpster dive team. Like wink, and then wink, wink. Okay, at night, and then
5 trucks a day up to you from the back of the office.
I could train the back row, so then you guys could be the sewers.
What about Manchester as opposed to Florida?
Oh, and we use so much of it. We use so much Manchester in my classes. Yeah. So using it as lining, and it's actually wonderful because it comes in such large quantities. So when I went to Lifeline, they said that during COVID, all the Coffs Harbour hotels, not naming any, started just doing a different process with their sheets, and Lifeline had absorbed all their sheets. They had this like, and they're polyester, so they were like stuck. We're like, we don't know what to do with these. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can see amazing potential in this. I could just make weird wedding dresses with young people all year long. So I took as many as I could, and we did. We used them, white sheets, for cutting gowns and frills and big costumes, because you need it, and it's expensive to buy. It's really expensive to buy that stuff, even if it is polyester. Yeah.
We get, I work at a recycle shop, and we get a lot of textiles, including Manchester. And if it's a good branded stuff like a Sheraton or whatever, we keep it aside, and they do take it back, but there's this whole journey that it's got to go through.
Sure.
You know, so there's transport miles and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And with some of it, there's a little stain in the corner of the queen size bedspread or something. The rest of it's magnificent.
Yeah.
So it's a shame that we don't use it, and people won't buy it because
Yeah.
there's a little stain.
I know. Yeah.
99.9% of it's fine.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with it, so.
Yeah, and like, yeah, we're on a mission to just like take everything. I send the girls down to the op shops to ask for sheets. Literally, I send them there. They're like, you know, I want to make this thing, and their ideas are so big. I'm like, okay, you need a lot of sheets for that.
Do you ever have it where you go and send them away for stuff and then they can't find what they're looking for? Have you ever had that?
I feel like I'm training all of you to think like me. We sometimes go on op shop trips together. If I think, oh, they're gonna just, what are they gonna do? They're gonna like, oh, get overwhelmed. Just wait for a break in class, and we go together, and then I teach them how to scan for what we're looking for. Yeah, but I've had one girl's stuff I was going to bring. She was probably only in class 5, but she made, using those like white, slightly stained in the corner sheets, she did incredible 1950s skirt with like a beautiful band at the top, and it was made of sheets underneath, and then a synthetic gold organza curtain. Anyone? We've seen like thousands of those. Yeah, that dark gold, which no one wants to hang in their house anymore. So she used that for the top layer, and then made a matching top out of the sheets at the back, and then Nana doilies all over it. So like the entire thing, and her sewing is quite beautiful. So I think when it comes to that like lower textile, it gets worked nicely when the skill of the student is higher. So then they can really kind of work it in, yeah.
And if we're in the op shops, are there any particular fabrics that we should be looking out for that are easier to sew or have a go at, changing something else?
I think just long lengths of fabric. Like, I think kids want to think big, and some of their ideas are quite amazing. So like capes, big gathered skirts, hoop skirts, and they need lengths of fabric. And I'm not, because I want to take as much away from the op shops and the bins as possible. So anything that's natural is good, but at the same time, I think people are buying the natural stuff. It's almost that slightly more dated curtain, but it's big. And so when you double fold it over, because when we cut, we have to cut on the fold. So there's 2 layers, and you need it to be a few meters long. So bedspreads and doona covers and pillowcases are great. And then just all the haberdashery that comes in. It's lovely to detail and decorate something that was a bed sheet, but with something from Nana. It's quite nice. And even taking like some really ugly stuff and making it beautiful again. And that might just be separating the crazy beaded thing off the brightly coloured thing and giving them to 2 different people. Because some of our fast fashion is just like, it's vomit. But it's well made vomit. But if you can just separate it, then you're kind of like you're giving this one thing 2 new lives. Yeah.
Cool. Fabric we found, and a lot of councils probably can tap into this, was we were contacted by our events team, and they do a lot of banners, like you hang in the streets and things, and they're really long sources of fabric, and because like a lot of them are about tourism, so it'll be like beautiful photos in your local area, or some really pretty design on that big scale. It actually, you can make it into some amazing things, and we run like sustainable gift wrapping workshops out of it. But they lend themselves to they would lend themselves to all sorts of things like that.
All of that. We used to have this very cool music festival in Bellingen, and I had great ideas for it, but the guy wasn't local, so he thought I don't know. He was like, "You're a bit crazy." But the idea for that was festival decor. Because what I noticed, he was like, "I'd love you to do some festival decor." And I was like, "Great, I want to get trash and get each school working." I just had big ideas. Each school can make something that can last forever, but that can be at every venue for your music festival, behind the stage. We can embed lights into it once it's done, but we will literally use, there's ways to cut garments that return it kind of back to its original fibre form, and then plait it. So and then once you've plaited it, you can turn it into a rug, or you can sew it. there's just so much you can do with it. And I was like, let's create these like sculptures, and there's 200 kids at that school, there's 500 at that school, let's get them working. And he just was like, no, I just want to buy it all from the $2 shop. I was like, wow, don't ask me. Boring. But yeah, there are other ways of engaging all the tip shop and op shop waste, yeah. It'd be great to get into the bins, come on. Got to work on that. I don't know, is it not healthy?
Do you participate in or have heard of even waste art? In the waste art competition?
Waste art?
Waste to art.
Oh, waste art?
Yeah, so it's a big thing
Is that up
in
here?
the Central West. A lot of councils are in it, and any council can join it. They just need like a group, and basically you just literally turn waste into art as the what it says on the tin. And the theme is different each year, and so I think previous years it had like soft plastic as the theme.
Oh, yeah.
Like the hero material that you use to make stuff. This year or last year, I can't think, the theme was packaging. So kids, usually it's like school kids that are doing it. So high school, primary schools, wherever, they'll like compete and they'll put in a piece that they've all made together at the school, and they go into the competition, and then there's judges for each level, like year levels or stages and age groups and stuff like that. And there's a whole like regional showcase where everyone from the regions comes to visit, and they look at all the pieces, there's boats and stuff, and you can, like, it's really, really cool, and it brings them all together, and they're all trying to think of how to make this, piece of trash or whatever into art. And there's some amazing stuff that comes out of it, and it's really, really big well. The teachers love it and stuff. So that could be a really
sounds
good
so
thing to
good.
get schools involved. Any council could do it.
Yeah, I'm trying to this year go for grants so I can create something like that in Bellenden. Yeah, and really fun, like so fun, and just get everyone involved and get some prizes. I don't know, but it's about engagement. I feel it's the process. It's that whole. It's the journey, not the destination. And then what we're learning on the way, it inspires the new idea. Yeah. It's very much about who I am too. Yeah. Cool. Oh, thanks so much. Love you guys. Come and find me. Let me help you. Just get in touch, and if I can train your people or just even give you my model. I keep my stuff still. I don't like do this. I want to help, and you just reach out and we can chat. But just remind me who you are. Even tell me what you look like, and then I'll know. I'm very visual. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, and thank you to IT for helping.